Hi, Joe here for GoonerTube, and I'm here with Andy, and we're going to be talking about the upcoming match against Aston Villa at the Emirates. Now, following on from the away win at Man United, it's going to be another tough game. Villa they're no mugs, and they're up there for a reason. And so we're going to be asking ourselves, what sort of setup are we going to have for the likes of Villa? What sort of team are we going to put out? How's Arteta's thinking? What are his tactics going to be? And so Andy's going to tell everything now. He's going to tell us all and use his expertise and let us know what he thinks we're going to do for our match against Villa. Andy, carry on, mate.
I've got a direct link to Arteta, so I know all his tactics now. So I'll just read them off, and everyone will be happy as Larry.
Private line, like a bat phone.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've learned everything off Wenger. You know what, Joe? For me, you know what? I think without stating the bloody obvious, just keep the same team as Man United. I was looking before we came onto the call, just because I'm a nosy son, so I had to look at the stats with Aston Villa. And the most obvious one is, which everyone can see, the last two games they conceded 7 goals.
Yep.
Right? So that says a lot about the defence. I think the last 4 games it's like 12 goals or something like that. So obviously the defence is there for the taking. Now if we go as a typical away side, hold back, let them press us, I think we're gonna come unstuck. We're gonna do like Leicester all over again. Although, okay, granted, it was at home to Leicester, but nevertheless, it's gonna be Leicester all over again. If we go like we did against Man United, high press, really put pressure on them, really put a lot of energy like we did against Man United, I genuinely feel we've got a guaranteed 3 points. But we can't sit back and we can't defend deep, and we've got to press and we've got to treat it as if we're the home side, and we're almost playing, I don't know, championship side, for argument's sake. If we go in there half-hearted as like an away team, we're going to come unstuck 100%.
Okay, so a la Leicester, what you're saying is we've got to go from that first whistle.
I think so. If you'd have asked me that against like a normal away game, typically bearing in mind how Arsenal typically play for the last couple of years, I'd maybe say just be a little bit cautious. But actually, the way we played against Man United, and again, I take the point, Man United aren't the greatest Man United team we've ever seen, let's be brutally honest. But the way that we set ourselves up with El Neni and Partey in midfield, I can't see why you want to change it. At the back, keep holding. Don't put Luiz back in there. They worked, him and Gabriel worked brilliant as a partnership. Why change it? Mm-hmm. Especially tonight with the Mulder game as well. Clearly we're going to make changes. That's fine. But going into Villa, I expect them to start the same 11 that we did against Man United.
Okay.
Why not? Why change it?
No, I agree. I mean, do you think the reason he kept Pepe in the Europa League side is because of, or we expected him to keep Pepe in the Europa League side, is because he needs that time, that needs to keep working for the team and needs to sort of seal his place. He's obviously putting a lot of trust in him, isn't he, at the moment, Pepe? Even though he's not playing that brilliantly, and he's still not quite integrated into the whole mould of the team. What do you think?
I'm not convinced he's got a lot of faith and confidence in Pepe, Joe. I know. Take your point. He feels that he plays him. He's on the bench. He plays him. He's on the bench. I just don't think he's got enough confidence to put him into a decent run. Now, to be fair for Pepe, I think he's got to take every opportunity he can. And you could argue every now and then he steps up. He steps up one game. He scores a great goal. He's back to normal, right? This is great, worth the money type of thing. But I don't think Arteta believes in him. Not enough to give him a run.
And what about?
I don't believe in him to give him a run. To be honest, not at the moment.
No, I know. I mean, we sort of, it's like one of those things where you keep looking at him thinking, is he? Don't know. We'll wait to the next game. Oh, is he?
Yeah.
And we could be doing this all season, literally, couldn't we? But I don't think. I think Arteta would probably run out of patience. £72 million or not. Now, another person I wanted to ask you about was the fact that if El Neni keeps playing the way he was playing, I mean, look at him on the 91st minute against Man United. He was sprinting across that pitch, sprinting and chasing players down with so much energy. It was unbelievable. And if he hasn't cemented at least for a while his place in the team, I mean, can you see him carrying on, and can you see the fact that Xhaka is going to find it very difficult to get back in the side, depending on the formation of the team, obviously?
Yeah, I think it again goes back to who you play, Joe, and how you want to play. If you want to play high press, you play with El Neni. If you sit back and want to take a bit of pressure, you put Xhaka or maybe somewhere else. But let's say Xhaka, for argument's sake, in the midfield as well. But for me, if you're playing high press, as we did against Man United, stick him in there. Keep him in the team.
Yeah.
Unless he does something drastically wrong, there's no reason to change it. What's the term? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Don't play around with it.
And so the front line as well. Let's talk quickly about the front line. I mean, we haven't been scoring that many goals. Let's take Dundalk out of the equation. Where are they going to come from?
It's a great question. I mean, Nketiah doesn't fill me much confidence. Would I drop Lacazette? I mean, I've been critical of Lacazette, as you know, Joe, in the past. After his play against Man United, didn't set the world alight, but he did enough. Everyone played their part. I would start him again against Villa. I wouldn't put Nketiah in there. Nketiah's another one. He's another one that you always think he's got potential. You think he's going to be the next Ian Wright. You always think he's going to do something. He always going to be the next this. But actually, every time he plays, he doesn't set the world alight. Let's be brutally honest. I would go with experience and stick Lacazette in up, obviously at Alba on the left as well. But don't change it. Nketiah on the bench. If you need him to come on, he's there if you need him. But he ain't going to set the world alight, let's be honest.
No. Do you remember those days, over the Arsenal where you'd walk up and you could go into the little Ladbrokes booth and have a bet on who the first goal scorer was going to be? And you'd look down at the list and you'd go, well, he definitely ain't going to score. He definitely ain't going to score. Well, he's got a chance of scoring because he occasionally pops up and has one. And he does the same thing. But I've got to be honest, apart from those front three and maybe Saka.
Yeah.
Can you see anybody else scoring a goal? I mean, on that pitch where you should be, though, shouldn't you? Back in those,
absolutely right.
Back in those days, when you had the likes of, the midfielders like Ljungberg and all the rest of it. You always knew that they had a goal in them somewhere along the line.
Yeah,
Pires, back in those days. But I've never really had that much confidence in thinking that any other midfielder, apart from maybe Saka if he's playing on the left, is going to score. So, have you got any faith in that happening?
You made that reference to Ljungberg's days, but they took the pressure off the front too, didn't they? Every time. You knew there was a number of goals there. Partey, we haven't seen enough of him. He may, if he gets the ability to go forward, he may score some goals, right? But El Neni ain't going to score you a load of goals. Ceballos, when he's playing, maybe the odd 1 and 2 here and there. But you're right. Your Pires and those guys, Ljungberg's, they guarantee get you 10 goals a season.
Yeah. But isn't that the scary thing, though? Isn't that the worrying thing about this season? Is that if we're putting that much pressure on the front three to score the goals, and it's only the front three that are collectively getting the goals between them, does that mean our goal tally is going to be down at the end of the season? And does that ultimately mean that won't get us into the top 4?
Yeah. And then you've got to rely on the defenders not bloody conceding. If you're only going to score 1 goal, create 4 chances a game, and score 1 of those 4 chances, you're putting so much pressure on the back 4. Okay, they've stepped up. Gabriel and whoever partners him has been okay this last 5 or 6 games, let's be honest. But that puts a lot of pressure on you, isn't it? If you don't score 1 goal, they've only got to score 1 goal at the other end. You've got to draw potentially a loss.
Yeah, exactly.
So to me, it just puts too much pressure on the rest of the team. Just one point you made there, Joe, which I think was a really good point. Do you remember back in the day when Kevin Campbell was playing for the reserves and he was banging in goal upon goal? I don't know, it was like 50 goals a season. Something. It was something really stupid, wasn't it? And I remember, desperate to get a chance. He came in. To be fair to the guy, he scored goals when he came into the team. And Nketiah, I think we big these people up so much from the under-23s or the reserves that you used to be back in the day. We big them up so much. They come in and they're average.
Okay, so here's a quick question for you off the back of that. And Nketiah as he is, or Campbell when he first came in?
Campbell, when he first came in, I'd have Campbell, 100%.
Is that because of the style of play or the fact that he was just bigger, stronger, and harder to deal with?
That's a good question. They are different players, to be fair, Joe. That's a valid point. They are very different. I love the physicality of Campbell. You never get him off the ball. I'm not saying Nketiah is necessarily weak to get off the ball, but he's a different player. Let's be brutally honest. Yeah. When Nketiah's come on the scene or potentially come on the scene, and there was kind of talk about him. There was no talk about him being next Ian Wright, but I saw him as potential like an Ian Wright type player, a more of a box player. But every time I see him, he just doesn't. I don't know.
Is he
Just
not?
doesn't sit.
Is he not showing enough potential for you? I mean, like Andy Cole, who played for us before he went to Bristol City and then on to Newcastle. He had that potential, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't the completed article. Until he went to Newcastle. So do you think maybe? I mean, it's obvious that Nketiah isn't the complete article. How far do you think he's got to go before he can be complete? And even if he makes it as a completed article in another year or two's time, can you see him being good enough for Arsenal?
I don't think he's ever going to be good enough for Arsenal, Joe. I think he's a sort of player, and I think the fact that he left Leeds as well, maybe when he was on loan, speaks volumes as well, mate. As well, I think he'll never be good enough to win us the league or win trophies on a regular basis or top 4 on a regular basis. He ain't that type of player.
Well, that's quite.
I think.
Go on,
Martinelli. You got Martinelli coming in as well. So when he's fit, where's he going to be? I mean, I don't know where there's room for him. As far as I'm concerned, Martinelli he's got still potential to be realised, right?
Yeah.
But what I've seen of him, he will be Arsenal's future. 100%.
I think once Martinelli comes back in, I think we will see a slightly different Arsenal. I think he added dimension, that attacking dimension, the one that possibly Usam Awal would have brought to the club if we'd gone and got him. So I think that's the reason they probably. I'm not saying that the talks broke down on purpose, because they were definitely after him before they got Partey. But I just wonder if they know that they've still got a man in Martinelli that has got that attacking prowess and that ability to go forward with the ball. They're putting trust in him to know that when he comes back, he can do a job for us and add that different dimension, cutting in from angles and cutting through the middle. So I'm wondering what's going to happen there, and I hope Arteta seems to know what he's doing so far. Did you see that quote actually, the Tony Adams quote saying that he was speaking to Steve Bold, and Steve Bold, who runs the under-23, said that what he's seen of Arteta, he's got it all. He's got everything you need to be a modern day coach, and we should be looking out for him because he's gonna do all right at Arsenal, and that's music.
I think he is.
That's music to my ears. I'm sure it's music to yours as well. So
100%.
Well, look, we've chatted today about the Man United game. We can't get everything in, but I think we've got the crux of what we needed to talk about, and also the Aston Villa thing, the setup and everything. So last word with you. If you could predict a result for Sunday, go with your head and not your heart, please.
Yeah, I'll go with my head.
Because as Arsenal supporters, we always tend to go with our heart.
I do it every time, Joe. I guarantee it. Always go with my heart. My heart and head actually are on the same page. Okay. I reckon 3-1 to Arsenal.
3-1. Yeah, I've got us as a 2-1. I think Villa will score. I can't see them not scoring. But because they're good in attack, and while they've got Grealish, there's always a goal in them, isn't there? And some of the other players they've got there, some fantastic players. But I think we've got goals in us as well. And I think we, hopefully, with that Man United win, has really, really helped us to turn that corner, albeit a penalty. But we had so many chances to seal that game that day. We got a bit lucky towards the end. But listen, luck plays a big part. And, the more confident they become, the luckier they become as well. So hopefully, we can seal another 3 points and move us on and possibly up into a top 4 position after the weekend, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I've got it as a 2-1. You got it as a 3-1. Well, you out there, what have you got it as? You can comment in the you can leave us your comments in the section below. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think of what we were talking about Nketiah. Do you see him as a future of Arsenal, or do you think Martinelli is the way forward? Other than that, thanks for joining me, Andy, and like I say, let's keep our chins up as Arsenal supporters. We always know that there's always something rubbish coming around the corner. Just when we think we've reached that point where we're going, come on, Arsenal.
We're Arsenal fans. What do we expect?
Exactly. But hey, this season could be very, very different. We'll have to wait and see on that one. And from what Tony Adams and Steve Bold are saying, I think Arteta is the right man for the job. Thanks for joining me. And if you are new to the channel, you can hit that subscribe button. You can hit the notification bell. And also that like button, because that means with the notification bell means you'll never miss another bit of future content here. And obviously the subscribe button and the like button are really important to us as well here at GoonerTube. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.